Hey guys, it's your boy Steven here with Bruno Sports and More. Today I wanted to talk about namely UFC versus boxing. Typically I see a lot of people that are one or the other. And they hate boxing if they're a UFC fan, and if they're a boxing fan they hate UFC. And they want to say which one's better, which one's this, which one takes more training, which one takes more dedication. Personally, I'm somebody who's done both sides of the track. I honestly like both. I love watching a good UFC fight as well as a good boxing match. Um, as I was younger, I took karate. I did a couple of years of boxing, did a lot of street fighting. Unfortunately, it's not always the best thing to do. And I can tell you this, 9 out of 10 fights always go to the ground. So if you don't have a ground and pound game, honestly, you're out of luck, really. Which one do I prefer the most? I don't know, man. I really love boxing. Boxing was something that was always, in my heart. But like I said, I like both. I enjoy both. I'm not one or the other. I'm going to watch both always. And honestly, I really think they complement each other. And the reason why is because if you've looked, for a while, boxing was kind of in that spot where it was kind of stagnant. It'll never die, but it was not what it once was for a while. It's kind of like horse racing. It'll, never go away, but it's not a big commodity. But reason being, UFC was really hot for that long while. And the good thing about UFC is if there's a 1 and 2, they're going to fight. There's no ducking and dodging. There's no, promotions are fighting each other because they have a commissioner, which is a good thing, Obviously, we don't like certain commissioners. I'm not going to say their names. But the thing with boxing is that not having somebody who can regulate the whole sport, it makes it difficult for sometimes fighters to fight each other. But over the last couple of years, I believe boxing has really stepped its game up and really been giving fights that us fans want because of having, like I said, UFC, you're constantly getting fights after fights after fights that are good fights that you want to see. And I think for a while it was biting boxing. It was hurting all the promoters, from people not buying pay-per-view and whatever else, however else they were watching fights. People weren't really tuning in because it's like, well, you're not giving us the fights we want. Why am I going to pay for a fight I don't want when I can watch UFC and I'm going to get a 1 and a 2? And that's just common sense, honestly, when it comes down to it. So like I said, me personally, I've done both. I've also been trained in doing a few submission holds, nothing crazy. I'm not no pro. So I'm not here trying to brag. I'm just saying I think it's vital to know both. I think they're both a great discipline. And honestly, they're both, you've got to put the work in. You can't just show up and think you're going to learn something. You've got to be willing to grind and learn techniques, learn different things that you weren't used to. But like I said, I think honestly they both complement each other. I think that they're just going to push each other to be better. Obviously it's like having a different league. Well, if one has been in the power so long, well, then they can go ahead and be stagnant to an extent. Well, when another league comes in of the same sport and it's giving us fans, an exciting, I don't know how to, maybe entourage, I guess you could say, kind of an aroma, whatever, that's going to start drawing fans over to that side of the tracks. Well, like I said, whenever you have basically, now it's pushing this people over here, the boxing world. Oh crap, well, we need to start putting out stuff so we can bring money back in, so the fighters can make money, so the promoters can make money. Everybody needs to try and make money. So like I said, at the end of the day, I think they both complement each other. I'm glad both are there. I'm glad both are putting out great fights with great fighters. So personally, I think that's just something we should all enjoy instead of worrying about a rivalry. Honestly, I think it's really cool that some fighters are willing to cross over in between. Some people don't like that. To me, that's the ultimate warrior mentality, because if I'm somebody who's very competitive myself. So if I'm like, bro, I don't care, I'll come fight you in your place, I'll come box you, I'll come do mixed martial arts with you. I would like to see more dual fights. I think that would be really cool. Okay, we'll have a fighter sign. Okay, well, I will sign to do a boxing match. We'll go 12 rounds, but the next fight I want you to come into the octagon. If a MMA fighter is willing to come in and do boxing rules in a boxing ring, well, then I think a boxer should be willing to get in the octagon under octagon rules. I mean, that's just me personally, though. But, you know, it is what it is. Not everybody thinks the same. So if you get a chance and you like this video and you want to see more, hit the like, subscribe, comment. Also, let me know your opinions. You know, what do you think? Are you one or the other? You're strictly UFC or are you strictly boxing? Why so? Do you like both? Have you done both? And what do you think is going forward? What's going to happen with both sides of the track? Do you think boxing is going to keep coming up? Do you think it might falter back down? Or do you think the same thing with the UFC or vice versa? So, all right, guys, I appreciate you. As always, be blessed. Peace.